1970s, as war raged across Vietnam, many families had no choice but to flee their homes. When Saigon fell in 1975, thousands of Vietnamese people became refugees searching for safety. Their journey led many of them to a place they never expected, the Philippines. At that time, the Philippines was under the leadership of Ferdinand Marcos. The country didn't have a refugee program in place, but that soon changed. The Philippines became what we call a country of first asylum. This meant the Philippines was one of the first places to offer temporary refuge to those fleeing war and persecution, particularly the Vietnamese who had nowhere else to go.
The Philippines set up two main refugee centers, the Philippine First Asylum Camp and the Philippine Refugee Processing Center in Bataan. The refugees arrive in two ways. Some were airlifted by the U.S. as part of the evacuation. Others, known as the boat people, brave dangerous seas in overcrowded boats, hoping to reach the safety of Philippine shores. However, by the late 1990s, the Philippine government decided to close the refugee programs. Many of the refugees had already been resettled in other countries like the United States, Canada, and Australia. But for those who remained, the story wasn't over.
Imagine what it must have been like to be one of those boat people, crowded onto small, fragile boats, drifting for days on the open sea. They faced storms, hunger, illness, and even pirates. But when they finally arrived in the Philippines, they were met by fishermen and local families who offered help and hospitality. But life in the camps wasn't easy. While some refugees were able to find new homes abroad, others chose to stay. Around 2,700 refugees were brought to processing centers in Palawan, where they could find rest and start rebuilding their lives.
Leaving behind everything they knew, these refugees had no choice but to trust in the kindness of strangers. The journey was long and dangerous, but it was also a journey towards survival and a new life.
At the Philippine First Asylum Camp in Palawan, refugees were provided with food, shelter, and medical care. The camp wasn't just a place to survive, it became a place to rebuild. Refugees worked together to create small businesses. Some opened food stalls, bakeries, and noodle shops. Others offered services like dressmaking and hairstyling. Despite the limitation, the camp became a small community. Education, especially English lessons, played a key role in preparing refugees for the future. Refugees were learning not just how to live, but how to thrive.
As the camps began to close, many refugees were relocated, but some stayed behind, choosing to settle in a place that had become their home. They helped build Vietville in Puerto Princesa, a community where they could keep their cultural identity, while also blending into Filipino society. Though they faced challenges, including work restrictions, they found ways to contribute to the local economy, starting businesses, work in agriculture, and integrating with the local communities. Viet will become a lasting symbol of resilience and adaptation.
When people are forced to flee, they don't just lose their homes, they lose their sense of identity. But through kindness and shared humanity, they can find a new home, a new beginning. That's what the Filipino people gave to these refugees. These stories also remind us of the Filipino spirit of bayanihan, helping others even when times are tough. The Vietnamese refugees found not just shelters in the Philippines, but kindness, compassion, and a place to start over. Today, Vietville and the legacy of these refugees shows us that even in the darkest times, there's hope. The story of these refugees is a reminder of the power of empathy and the strength of the human spirit.